Talk to me, honey, so you can see what's going on. What's going on? Hey, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. Woo!
The individuals who came to his house and the people who took him off the bus.
That's correct.
What's the relationship there as far as you know? Can you just connect those dots for us?
Well, let me just tell you, one of the things that we understand, according to, and not my words, but the DA's words, that was that the commissioner said that he was getting up-to-date information about Randy's whereabouts from a confidential source. Who was the confidential source? There were only two people that had track and been keeping track of Randy, and those were two campaign workers from the Hardwick campaign. If those were the individuals that were doing up-to-date status of Randy's status, giving that to the commissioner of police, he said he was receiving calls on that. How did they get his number?
So it's not necessarily the people that came to his house, but them or their representatives.
Well, I'll tell you what. Give me subpoena power to get the phone records, I'll answer your question. I don't know, but one of the things is clear, and it says it right in her letter. It says that Commissioner Dale received a series of phone calls from someone Commissioner Dale describes as a confidential source. The source gave Commissioner Dale up-to-the-minute information concerning Mr. White's whereabouts, presumably to aid the department in executing an arrest of Mr. White. Who is that? What authority did they have? No less just making the calls, but what was their motive? Everybody's got to look at that and just turn and head to the side. That's a major concern. It's in her papers, but yet she doesn't answer the questions. She doesn't ask the questions. The questions, she raises these and says that there was a confidential source. What authority gives the police commissioner in the middle of an investigation to say the source is confidential? He's being investigated. Tell us, who was it? That's a real problem.
Also in the DA's letter, it makes a point of saying that, you know, the decision to target someone who has an open warrant cannot be or is not a violation of criminal law. Your notice of claim is about a civil rights violation, correct? That he was treated differently than other people under similar circumstances. Is that correct? That's
one issue. The other thing was here that they abused their authority under the mask of a normal process. This was not a normal process. Their rationale and reasoning for doing this had nothing to do initially with the warrant. Their reason was because of the political machinations that were going on around Randy and the impact that he was having in a lawsuit that was a civil matter. So this claim that there was a warrant, it's one of the lowest level warrants that you could have. If that's the case, there's a real concern. And the fact that the DA's office gave him a pass on this is a bigger concern, because they used that ruse to really address this claim.
To follow up, the DA also said that the investigation was sort of ongoing with regard to that subpoena that Mr. Hoskins was given. You seem unconvinced that is going to result in some kind of criminal penalty or appropriate penalty. Why are you unconvinced of that?
Well, at this time, I'm unconvinced because Mr. White, Randy, has not received a single word from the district attorney's office. He is the complainant. And their whole claim about complainants' rights and victims' rights, it's gone down the tubes with regard to this man. This is going back not just, 10, 15 days. We're talking about October 5th. And the complaint was made almost immediately. For no one to even speak to this man or attempt to contact him through his father or now through his attorney is outrageous. It doesn't make sense. And what makes me be concerned that nothing's going to happen is because nothing has happened.
We in the media love simplicity, so if you could make it simple, you're alleging a cover-up.
Without question, we are. Look at number 2 Nature of claim: negligence, breach of duty, violation of civil rights, both federal and state, and conspiracy. We are saying that there is a conspiracy that's going on here, and it smacks. There's more here than is necessary for any prosecutor to look at this and bring a RICO action if they decided to do that in federal court, even though you've got public employees here. There's a real concern here. And yes, we are suggesting there is a cover-up. There's a cover-up that goes from the heights down to the rank and file.
Are you, just to clarify, you're saying that the complainant has not been questioned by anybody in this case?
No, I'm saying that after the initial complaint and the initial contact which took place, Mr. White Randy has not been contacted about the outcome, what their results were, what their plans were, how they were going to try and vindicate this, and how they were going to deal with him as a victim. He's a victim. And their whole claim about victims' rights has gone out the window when it comes to this young black man. There's a concern. And the community is concerned about that. Not only did organizations like TCC have to step up, the corridor count step up and raise questions on his behalf and the entire community, but other individuals, law enforcement individuals, have come forward and said, this is wrong. This is not the norm. And what they did to him in terms of they strip searched him twice. They cavity searched him twice. That's not appropriate.
Have you ever seen a case like this before, and where do you see them? Do you think the ex-police commissioner is going to go to jail?
Well, I haven't seen anything like this before, but Nassau is good about being the author of newness. And one of the things I do anticipate here is much like an English bulldog. We're going to lock our jaws and hang on to this one until some justice is seen.
Satisfied with anything less than criminal charges against the former police commissioner?
I will tell you that it's not up to me to be satisfied or not satisfied. All's Mr. Hoskins, Mr. White, and his father wants is a fair shake. A full, appropriate, complete probe and investigation. Not this skim the surface thing, take our word for it, and then wait for it to fade away. That's what's happening here. They want things just to fade away and folks to shut up and go away. That's not happening. They abuse this young man. The abuse of this young man cannot go unaccounted for. That's the bottom line. And if it were any one of your children, you'd want the same thing, because what's done to him, the way they treated him like a caged animal, is not acceptable. Period. The end.